Good evening, everyone. Okay, for this video, I basically want to make a video response for a few people who've been asking about combining chapters, particularly for the Teach Yourself series. So what I'm going to do is show you guys what you need to do when you combine chapters. Now, the course I will be using here is for Closha, as you see. I have this and the actual, let's see, my notepad open just to show you guys how you need to take notes while going through these chapters. So we're starting from chapter 1. So basically what you want to do is go through the grammar section. Alright, so we go to the grammar section. It should start off with, let's see, 1. Where is it? Okay, how it works. No, is that right? Yeah. So here, 1, the equivalent of English pronouns, I, we. So you want to go through all of these. 1, and see what they're talking about. 2, proper names. 3, giving instructions. 4, making statements. 5, asking questions. 6, some close shot equivalents of English prepositions. And where's 7? Okay, I don't think they had 7. Okay, they didn't really have 7 explanations. So you want to go through all those and see what they're talking about. Okay, you're gonna do this for all the chapters. So normally what I do is I open up my where is it? I open up my notepad and I'll go here I'll put chapter 1. And then as you can see, I have 1, 3, 4, 5. I skipped 2 because they were basically talking about proper names. That was unnecessary. So I just kind of skipped that. And so now I have 1, 3, 4, and 5. So in that first part, they talked about personal pronouns. In number 3, they talked about giving instruction, making statements, and then 5, asking questions. So you want to take notes here like these. Now also what you can do, I didn't do it here because I just want to give you guys a pretty good idea on how you need to do this. You can make notes, like you can, like under here, you can go something like notes and then type out the examples, some examples, so you can remember, so you won't have to flip through the book again. I found that very useful to do as well. Okay, and also it's like reinforcing. When you copy the stuff down, it helps you remember the stuff. So you can do that if you don't feel like flipping through the book again. So copy down all the points covered in that chapter, and then once you do that and you take your notes, move on to chapter 2 and do the same thing. So chapter 2, let me open this back up. Here we go to chapter 2. Again, go to part 1. Where does it start? Okay, English third person personal pronouns, he, she, they. 2, present tense, positive. 3, the nga infixes, may, can, and sa for equal still. The infinitive for 4, interrogative 7. Okay, 8, possessive adjectives. You just, like I said, just go through here and familiarize yourself with them. Take notes if you need it. Then 9, you have the na equals and, with, have, has, and that was the last one. So if I go back to my pad here, you see that I have, for 1, third person personal pronouns, present tense, may, can, still, the infinitive, am, is, are, etc., object concords, interrogative. So these are all the things covered in chapter 2. Okay, I just put that there, and then again, if I want to make notes, I'll just go ahead and make my notes here. Okay, now we're moving on to chapter 3. You move on to chapter 3 and do the same thing. You go to the grammar section, straight to the grammar section. Don't need to look at the vocabulary for now. You go straight to the grammar section and see what's covered. Now, 1 was basically a summary of all the previous chapters, so you can skip that one. Then you have 2, emphatic pronouns. Number 3, present tense, negative. And then 4, remote past tense. 5, polite requests. 6, the impersonal ku, the equivalent of English it. 7, more interrogatives. And then what was 8? Conjunctions, because, but, if, that, and when. Okay, and then again, you go back to this pad here, or wherever you like to take your notes, and you put that stuff jotted down. So 1, there was a summary. 2, emphatic pronouns, present tense, negative, past tense, polite request, impersonal ku, more interrogatives, conjunctions, but, if, that. And then again, the notes. Go down here, put notes, and then take your notes on that stuff. Make up example sentences. So that's the point. The point of doing that is you want to go back through that. You're going to go back through that information, and you're going to be making up examples. Like you just want to practice all those constructions. It's very important to make up your own sentences. You need to do this. Okay, that's the point of taking the notes for these. Now I made a little example here to show you guys. So here is what do I have? May I ask, do you speak such and such language? I'm an American, and I am studying such and such language. I studied whatever language it is in America, but I don't have I don't have any friends, which in this case we'll say, because we're talking about Closha, it could be South Africa. So you can say, but I don't have any South African friends. You could say that. I have many books. Not only that, I can speak a bit of whatever language it is you're working on now, but I still want to practice with you. So that's basically an example. That's what you need to do. Now, what I've done here was, I'm going to show you here. May I ask? Okay, this here is a polite request. So that was from chapter 3. You see here, under my chapter 3 notes, I have, I have summary, I have emphatic pronouns, present tense, negative, past tense, polite request, more interrogatives, conjunctions, but, if, and that. That's a polite request. May I ask? So that's where I got that from. I took that from chapter 3. Do you speak whatever language? This is a question. Okay, this is an interrogative. So that actually can come from what? What chapter did they introduce interrogatives? Chapter 2, they introduced interrogatives, right? Right here, interrogatives, chapter 2. Okay, and I think there was in chapter 3 they brought more interrogatives up. Questions. Were there more questions? I thought there were. But anyway, you guys get the idea. Interrogatives, chapter 2. Okay, what else do I have? I'm an American and am studying such and such language. That's a statement. I'm an American. That's a statement. So was that chapter 1 where they introduced making statements? Making statements here. Okay, so that's where you learn how to make those type of statements. I'm an American, right? And am studying such and such language. Now, I am studying, that's the present progressive. That's the present tense. Okay, where they introduced the present tense. Not in chapter 1, it was chapter 2. See here, present tense. Okay, so that's where I got that from. Let's see, what's next? Let's see, I'm an American, and this and here, that's part of the conjunctions. They introduced conjunctions in chapter 3, but also normally, because this is part of my method, what I do is, well, here it is, chapter 2, and if this and wasn't introduced, like in any conjunction I use that are introduced in any of those chapters, it's already embedded in my brain to use those keywords. I consider those keywords. That's just part of my method. That's what I like to do. So you can always throw in some keywords. You don't necessarily have to stick with all the content from those 3 chapters. I strongly recommend you guys to use other keywords. For example, let me see. Not only that, this right here. Not only that, that wasn't introduced in any of the chapters. I just used that because that's considered a keyword to me. So I just threw that in there. All right. So what's next? I studied in America. See, studied, that's past tense. So past tense was introduced in chapter 3. I wanted to use past tense somewhere since it was introduced in that chapter. So that's past tense there, chapter 3. I studied such and such language in America. But I don't have, in this case, South African friends, you could say. See, but is a conjunction. That was also introduced in chapter 3. But again, even if it wasn't introduced in that chapter, I would have still used it because this just It's a keyword. I like to use the keywords. I don't have. That's a negative. Possession, negative. They introduced that where present tense, negative. Possession. What did it possess? I think it was chapter 2. Yeah, possession was introduced in chapter 2, and I believe they show you how to negate that as well. Okay, don't have. I have many books. Again, that's possession. And many was also introduced in it was in, I believe it was chapter 2. I didn't put that down, but many, they use that a lot. So I have many. Not only that, that's a keyword that I use. I can speak a bit of whatever language it is you're working on. See, I can, that's having you're able to do something. You have the ability to do something. That was introduced in was it chapter 2? Let me see. Personal present tense, possessive, interrogative. Let's see. Interrogatives. Wait a minute. I think it was still infinite, yeah. Object concourse, possessive. Summary, emphatic pronouns, present tense, past. More. Wait a minute. I know. Wait, I thought I put that in here. To be able to do something. I saw that. I thought it was chapter 2. I don't think I jotted that down here. But yeah, able to do something was in chapter 2. I just forgot to put it down. Polite request and personal. Yeah. So I can speak. I can do this. I can do that. Okay. And then now. This now here, that's actually considered a keyword to me. I just threw that in there. But there's another conjunction. I still want to practice with you. See, this still here, that was introduced like, yeah. Oh, here it is. May, can. Chapter 2. I thought so. You may, can, you're able to do something, and still. Those were introduced in chapter 2. Okay. So I still want to practice with you. Still want to practice. This here is an infinitive, to practice. And they talked about infinitives in chapter 3. The impersonal coup. Okay. So that's basically what I do. That's my strategy when I combine chapters. I go through 3 chapters and I take notes on all those points, and then I make up my my own sentences like this one here, and I just do that. I may spend a week doing that. I like to spend at least a week working on that type of stuff, those type of drills. Those are my drills I like to do. So this. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. Like I said, it may be a little unorthodox for some people because it's a different approach, but I found that it's very, very useful and helpful. Very, very helpful. It helps you. I mean, who wouldn't want to cover all this stuff at one time in 1 week instead of waiting like, a whole month or whatever to get to chapter 3? You have to wait until you get to chapter 3 to start working on past tense and polite requests and whatnot. I mean, it's good. You're actually saving a lot of time. So combining 3 chapters is very, very, very good. So let's say if you have a book that has let's take a random like 20 chapters, and you follow this, you combine 3 chapters. I mean, in a month, you work on those for a week. That's 12 chapters. So in less than a full 2 months, you will have completed that book. So it's really ideal. So anyway, that's the idea. That's what you need to do. So I wanted to particularly make this video for my buddy Lucas. My buddy Lucas Berger, I think that's his name. He's from Brazil. He sent me a few messages. I'm sorry this is a bit late of a video, but I hope this is very clear to you and you understand what to do. So if you or anyone else have any questions, or you're stuck on anything as far as combining chapters, and or just questions about this method in general, just let me know. I've been making a lot of private videos lately, so I mean they're very easy to do since I'm using my headset. I use this Cam Studio program, very fun to use. But that's it for this video. Like I said, let me know if you have any other questions. I hope it's clear to you, and wish you guys the best. Thanks for viewing, and look forward to your comments or video responses.